What do ransomware, software supply chain attacks, 0 days and AI have in common? They're all showing us that cyber attacks are becoming faster, more automated, and harder to spot. I'm breaking down the biggest cybersecurity stories you need to know this week without the complicated jargon. This is COZ IT'S TECH, weekly cyber news roundup. Story 1. Ransomware is exploiting security software. Let's start with ransomware. Microsoft is warning about a China-linked threat actor exploiting a critical vulnerability in Enables N-Central, a platform used by IT and managed service providers to remotely manage computers. Here's why this is particularly dangerous. Attackers aren't simply targeting one company's laptop. They're abusing software that's designed to manage many other systems. Microsoft says the attackers are using the vulnerability to deploy ransomware, turning a trusted IT management tool into a potential launchpad for attacks. This is an important reminder for businesses. The software you use to manage your infrastructure can itself become an attack surface. So patching isn't just about your operating system anymore. Security teams need to know what third-party and remote management tools have access to their environment. Story 2. A 0-day is being exploited. Next, vulnerabilities. One of the major stories this week involves an actively exploited Metabase 0-day. A 0-day is a vulnerability that attackers can exploit before defenders have had enough time to fully protect against it. And when a vulnerability is already being exploited, organizations can't afford to treat it like just another item on a long patch list. The lesson is simple. Businesses need to prioritize vulnerabilities based not only on severity scores, but also on whether attackers are actually using them in the wild. Story 3. Supply chain attacks are getting bigger. Now let's talk about something that could affect developers and companies without them realizing it. Microsoft recently detailed ChainDrop, a large-scale NPM supply chain compromise involving more than 400 packages. The danger with a supply chain attack is simple. Instead of attacking the final victim directly, attackers compromise something the victim already trusts. A software package, a dependency, a development tool, or even an update. Once that trusted component is compromised, malicious code can potentially reach hundreds or thousands of downstream systems. And that's why software supply chain security is becoming one of the biggest challenges for modern organizations. Story 4. AI is becoming part of the attacker's toolkit. And finally, AI. Cybersecurity researchers are increasingly seeing artificial intelligence being used to accelerate familiar attacks. AI can help attackers automate reconnaissance, create more convincing phishing messages, generate malicious code, and scale operations that previously required much more human effort. At the same time, security teams are using AI to detect threats and analyze huge amounts of data. So we're entering an interesting phase of cybersecurity. AI isn't replacing the attacker or the defender. It's making both sides faster. So what's the biggest lesson from this week's news? Don't just protect your devices. Protect your entire digital ecosystem. Keep critical systems patched. Monitor third-party software. Know what dependencies your developers are using. Protect privileged accounts. And remember, AI can make cybersecurity better, but it can also make cyber attacks faster. That's your weekly cyber news roundup from COZ IT'S TECH. Share this with someone who needs to know what's happening in cybersecurity. And follow COZ IT'S TECH for next week's biggest cyber stories.